Good morning, friends. It is Friday. Man, we finally made it. Whew. This week has been dragging. And if you're lucky, got a 3-day weekend coming up. Actually, we may have more than a 3-day weekend coming up here in Southeast Texas. We got a big Arctic storm coming. They're talking about ice and snow, so that pretty much shuts down everything. Also shuts down the power sometimes, unfortunately. But anyway, that's how it goes. Anyway, sorry hitting you. I hope you are staying warm. This review for some of the things that happened these past few days in college basketball. And then we're going to preview what's coming up this weekend. We got some news to get to. So before we get started, hit that subscribe button down there so you don't miss it. With that, let's get started. Okay, Texas wide receiver Isaiah Bond. He has entered the transfer portal. But some good news is Trey Moore, he's going to return for next season for the Longhorns. So they lose one, but they keep one. It is what it is in today's world. Speaking of the transfer portal, on Tuesday, FBS coaches voted in favor of a proposal that would reduce the transfer portal down to a single 10-day period in January. They're talking about January 2nd through January 12th, starting next year, 25-26 academic year. Now moves to the NCAA Oversight Committee, untimely, the Division I Council for final approval. I like this. I like this a lot because your team's doing good, and a couple players aren't liking what's going on, so they decide they're going to take off. Or Joe Blow dealership in another town says, hey, come play for us, and I'll pay you $4 million. And then they get in the transfer portal and leave your team. So I'm good. I'm liking this. One time a year, 10 days, there you go. Now they need to do something with NIL. They need to get that under control big time because that's part of the reason people jump in the transfer portal. But if they can make it, if they can narrow it down to this one time during the year, maybe your favorite player or player you really like won't leave because somebody will counteract in his town and say, no, stay here and I'll pay you this amount of money to stay here and play. So, but they do need to get NIL under control. Anyway, Deion Sanders. He is talking with the Dallas Cowboys. I haven't heard anything yet. A lot of people are saying, hey, that'd be good for him. A lot of people are saying, no, that wouldn't be good for him. Remains to be seen. I mean, but look, let's face it. Being here in Southeast Texas, I was always an Oilers fan. But I also rooted for Dallas whenever they play some other teams. I mean, back in the day with Roger Staubach, Tony Dorsett, and even into the 90s with Aikman and Smith and all them, I still rooted for them. But now, Dallas Cowboys, they call it America's team, but to me, they're kind of damaged goods, really. I mean, they really are. They've fallen so much and have so many issues there. Jerry Jones, the owner, being the biggest issue, but that's a whole nother story. LSU freshman quarterback Colin Hurley was found unresponsive in his car after wrecking near the campus gates. Family says he's in hospital resting and stable and doing good now. Baton Rouge Fire Department and LSU police found him. His car wrecked out. I don't know what happened. They're not saying what happened because evidently he's 17 and they're not going to release that information. But one can only speculate, college kid. But you never know. Somebody may have ran him off the road. You know, they are crazy drive. I don't know about where y'all live, but where I live, drivers here are about smart as a coffee table. So you never know. USC defensive coordinator Deion Tonlin. They are giving him a contract extension. They like what he did. He did improve the defense. He has improved the defense because that defense was horrible for the last few years. UNC quarterback, North Carolina's Jacoby Criswell, transfer portal. Iowa State forward, basketball news here. Milan Momolic, can't say his name. I'm butchering it. Hurt in practice, out indefinitely. I think they said he hurt his hand. So he's out indefinitely right now. They don't know when he's going to be coming back. All right, so let's go back over a few days, some things that happened. Interesting things. Monday, 9-8 Rutgers beat 11-6 UCLA, 75-68. Ace Bailey for Rutgers, 20 points, 10 rebounds. 13-4 Maryland beat 8-9 Minnesota by 6. Keep Maryland and Minnesota in your most recent thoughts here for the next couple minutes. Maryland's Derek Queen, 27 points. Rice behind him had 21 points. 9-8 Wofford. They beat 14-3 Furman, 81-62. Wofford was up by 20 at the half, kept on rolling. 8-12 Morgan State beat 12-8 Norfolk State by 4. I'm sorry. Morgan State's Cameron Hobbs, 23 points in that game. Moving on to Tuesday, 12-7 Xavier beat 11-8 Villanova by 6. Xavier's Conwell, 34 points, hit 6 3-pointers in that game. The team had 18 points off of turnovers total. Akron, they're 11-5. They beat 9-7 Toledo, 85-78. Nate Johnson for Akron, 28 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists. 4-12 Western Michigan beat 11-5 Kent State, 94-83. Western Michigan, 18 points off of turnovers. Number 19 Illinois, they moved to 13-4, beat 13-5 Indiana, 94-69. Illinois led by 28 at the half, never let up. Baswell, 22 points, 7 rebounds. Joxions, 21 points for Illini. 40% from the field. They hit 11 3-pointers total. 23 for 26 from the free throw line. 14 more rebounds, 5 less fouls than Indiana. Indiana's Ballo, 16 points, 15 rebounds. Good behind him, had 13 points. VCU, they are 13-4. They beat 10-7 St. Louis, 78-62. VCU, 27 points off of turnovers. Man. Number 8, Kentucky moved to 14-3. They beat number 11, 13-4 Texas A&M. Yeah, I was pissed about that. 81-69. Robinson, 22 points, 8 rebounds, 5 3-pointers for Kentucky. They were 46% from the field. They had 10 more rebounds, 15 more assists, and 18 points off of turnovers. A&M's Phelps, 21 points, 7 rebounds. 3-point game at the half. Aggies played them great in the first half. Second half, I guess it kind of got to them. They fell off. So it wasn't as good as the game in the second half, unless you're a Kentucky fan. UK outlasted A&M, scoring 9 more points in the second half on that one. Number 21, Ole Miss. They are 15-2. They beat number 4, 14-3 Alabama by 10. Ole Miss's Dia, 23 points, 19 rebounds, and they were 39% from the field. Did have 19 points off of turnovers, though. Alabama's Holloway came off the bench, 15 points. They shot 43% from the field. Game was actually a 4-point game at halftime. Ole Miss outscored the Tide 42-28 in the second half of that game. Number 1, Auburn, they are 16-1. They beat number 15, Mississippi State, who is 14-3. Beat them 88-66. Auburn's Baker Marza, 20 points. Johnson, 17 points, 8 rebounds. Auburn, 55% from the field. They hit 10 3-pointers. They scored 22 points off of turnovers. Mississippi State's Hubbard led the way, 17 points, 5 rebounds. Melendez, 15 points, 10 rebounds. They shot 35% from the field. Auburn did lead this game by 19 at halftime and kept on going. 15-3 St. John's beat 12-5 Georgetown, 63-58. St. John's, 22 points off of turnovers. Belmont, they moved to 13-5. They beat 10-8 Valparaiso, 71-64. Both of them shot under 37%. Not a good shooting night for either one of those teams. 8-8 UTSA beat 11-7 Rice, 90-84. Rice is on a 3-game losing streak. Number 24, 14-3 Wisconsin beat 10-7 Ohio State, 70-68. Wisconsin, they are now on a 6-game win streak. 14-3 Missouri beat number 5, 15-2 Florida by 1. Missouri, that ends a Florida 16-game home win streak. Missouri went in there and beat them. Missouri, 44% from the field. They hit 11 3-pointers. They scored 18 points off of turnovers. Florida shot 48% from the field. LSU, they're 12-5. They beat Arkansas, who's 11-6, beat them by 4. Carter for LSU, 27 points, 4 rebounds. 9-10 San Jose State beat 14-4 New Mexico by 1. San Jose State's Valhalla, 18 points and the game-winning shot with 2.1 seconds left. 11-6 USC beat 12-5 Iowa by 10. USC 65% from the field. Iowa shot 53%. Arizona beat number 25 Baylor 81-70. Both of them are 11-5. Arizona 7-game win streak. Good for them. Central Florida, they are 12-4. They beat 10-6 Arizona State, 95-89. Hall for UCF, 40 points and 7 rebounds to go along with it. Hell of a game for him. Wednesday, Vanderbilt, they are 14-3 now. Beat 10-7 South Carolina by 3. Vanderbilt's McLaughlin, 3-point play with 0.6 seconds left to win that game. 10-7 LaSalle beat 12-5 Davidson by 3. LaSalle 22 points off of turnovers. 13-4 Wake Forest beat 11-6 Stanford, 80-67. Salas for Wake Forest led the way, 30 points. 13-5 George Mason beat 11-6 Dayton, 67-59. George Mason, 52% from the field, hit 11 3-pointers. Dayton, though, did have 21 points off of turnovers, so wasn't all bad for them. 8-9 Duquesne beat 13-4 George Washington, 73-65. Duquesne, they hit 10 3-pointers, and they scored 21 points off of turnovers. Number 2, 15-1 Iowa State beats number 9, 12-4 Kansas. Man, 74-57. Iowa State's Curtis Jones, 26 points, 6 rebounds. He hit 5 3-pointers. Behind him, Jackson, 17 points, 4 rebounds. Iowa State shot 41% from the field. Kansas was led by Mayo, only 17 points. They shot 41% from the field, 4 for 11 from the free throw line, 17 turnovers, 10 less rebounds than Iowa State. Some people are saying there's Kansas slipping now. They slipping downhill. I don't think so. They just think they had a bad game. All right, 7-11 Bucknell beat 10-8 Holy Cross. That was actually tied at 40 at halftime. Number 12, 15-2 Michigan State beat 12-6 Penn State, 90-85. Spartans, Fiddler, 18 points, 7 rebounds. He came off the bench to do that. Aikens, 16 points, 6 rebounds. They shot 47% from the field, 27 points off of turnovers. Penn State's Baldwin Jr., he had 20 points. Dunn came off the bench, 18 points. Penn State shot 53% from the field. Number 10, 13-3 Houston beat 12-4 West Virginia, 90-85. Roberts for Houston, 22 points. Cryer behind him, 18 points. They shot 49% from the field. They hit 11 3-pointers, scored 25 points off of turnovers. West Virginia's Hansberry came off the bench, 16 points. As a team, they shot 44% from the field. Talked about this one. Number 6, 16-1 Tennessee beat number 23, 14-3 Georgia, 74-56. Georgia's been on a tear. I knew this was going to be a tough game, and then they got Oklahoma on Saturday, who's also a damn good team. So we're going to see, like I said, we're going to see what Georgia's made of. Yeah, they lost here, lost by almost 20. But, man, if they could pick up a win Saturday against Oklahoma, that could show they're serious this year. They're a serious team. Still be a serious team because they beat Kentucky and I forget who else was a ranked team last week. So, still. Tennessee's Gainey's came off the bench, 19.7 rebounds. Ziegler behind him, 16 points. As a team, they shot 42% from the field, and they scored 19 off of turnovers. Georgia's Newell, he led the way, 13 points, 5 rebounds. DeMary Jr. behind him, 12 points. They shot 38% from the field. Florida State beat Pittsburgh 82-70. Both of them are 12-5. Watkins for Florida State, 26 points, 8 rebounds. 11-6 Loyola Chicago beat 13-4 Rhode Island, 81-77. 12-5 Texas beat 13-4 Oklahoma, 77-73. Pope for the Longhorns, 27 points. Behind him, Johnson, 16 points, 4 rebounds. They shot 48% from the field. Oklahoma's Moore led the way, 29 points, 8 rebounds. Fears behind him, 20 points, 5 rebounds. They actually shot 51% from the field, but just came up short. 10-7 UNLV beat number 22, 16-2 Utah State by 3. UNLV, 11 points off of turnovers. Last night, 10-7 Jacksonville State beat 13-5 Louisiana Tech by 2. In overtime, 9-9 Minnesota beats number 20 Michigan, who's 13-4, beat them 84-81. Garcia for the Gophers, 27 points, 12 rebounds. Patterson, 22 points in that one, 6 rebounds for him also. Mitchell Jr. behind him, 20 points, man. So they were really scoring there in Minnesota. Wolf for Michigan, 23 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists. Behind him, Golden, 18 points, 8 rebounds. Both Minnesota and Michigan shot 45% from the field. Longwood, they are 14-6. They beat 15-5 High Point by 2. Game was actually tied at 34 at halftime. 4-15 New Hampshire beats 9-9 UMBC by 3. Good for them. 13-5 Alien beat 10-8 Drexel. Alien 18 points off of turnovers in that game. 13-5 UNCW beat 10-8 Northeastern, 80-72. UNCW 20 points off of turnovers. 6-11 Rider beat 11-6 Mount St. Mary's by 6. Jay Alvarez for Rider had 19 points. 10-7 Jacksonville beat 11-7 North Alabama by 4. Jacksonville's Robert McCray, 19 points in that game. 9-9 Towson beat 10-8 Hofstra, 65-60. 11-6 Temple beat number 18, 13-4 Memphis, 88-81. Temple, 47% from the field. Memphis, just under that, 45% from the field. 13-5 Northern Colorado beat 10-7 Portland State, 72-69. Northern Colorado's Isaiah Hawthorne, 23 points for him. Let's see, 13-4 UTEP beat 14-4 Liberty by 2. UTEP's Bynum game-winning shot with 3 seconds left in that one. 10-8 Rutgers beat 12-5 Nebraska, 85-82. Rutgers Bailey, 24 points, 11 rebounds. Harper behind him had 21 points. Northwestern, they're 11-6, beat 13-5 Maryland, 76-74 in overtime. Northwestern, 19 points off of turnovers. 10-8 Loyola Marymount beat 12-7 Santa Clara by 3. Loyola Marymount, 12 points off of turnovers. In overtime, 14-5 Oregon State beat number 16 Gonzaga, who's also 14-5, beat them 97-89. Rataj for Oregon State, 29 points, 7 rebounds. King behind him, 20 points, 4 rebounds. They shot 59% from the field. They had 19 points off of turnovers. Gonzaga's Ike, nice game for him though, 26 points, 9 rebounds. All 5 starters though for Gonzaga did score in double-digit points. Just came up short. They shot 42% from the field. 12-6 Cal State Northridge beat 11-6 Hawaii, 83-60. Scotty Washington for Cal State Northridge, 24 points in that game. All right, so coming up, college basketball tonight, 6 p.m. on ESPNU, 12-4 VCU versus 11-6 St. Joseph. 6 p.m. on FS1, 9-8 Providence versus 11-6 Villanova. 7 p.m. on Fox. This could be a good one. 13-4 Indiana versus 10-6 Ohio State. Another good one. 7 p.m. if you got ESPN Plus. 7 p.m. on ESPN Plus. 11-7 Youngstown State versus 12-6 Milwaukee. And a couple good ones to round out the night. 8 p.m. both on FS1. 8 p.m. on FS1. 12-4 Iowa versus number 22 UCLA, who's 11-5. And then late night, 10 p.m. FS1. 12-5 Boise State versus 14-3 New Mexico. So we've got some pretty good late night basketball games. All right, so tomorrow, some of the interesting games. Number 4, 14-2 Duke versus 9-7 Boston College. When I last looked at that game, is to be announced. I'm not sure what time they put that at, so keep an eye out. Same thing with 11-5 Texas versus number 8, 15-1 Florida. That one was also to be announced, but I'm sure by now they got time for it, so just look it up. 11 a.m. on ESPN, number 5, Alabama, who's 14-2, versus number 6, 13-3 Kentucky. That's going to be a hell of a game there. 11 a.m. on Fox, 10-6 Creighton versus number 9, 13-4 UConn. 11 a.m. CBS Sports, number 12, 12-3 Houston versus 11-4 Central Florida. Both of them are playing pretty damn good basketball right now. 11 a.m. on the ESPN2, 8-8 Virginia versus 12-5 Louisville. 11 a.m. on the CW. This could be a good one too. 13-4 Clemson versus 12-4 Pitt. 11:30. Could not find the TV time on this. I'm guessing it's going to maybe be online. But 13-3 George Washington versus 12-5 George Mason. That could be a good one if you can find where they're playing it at. 12 p.m. on the SEC Network. Number 2, 15-1 Auburn versus 14-2 Georgia. I'm sorry, I said Georgia's playing Oklahoma. They're playing Auburn. They played Oklahoma last week. So they're playing Auburn. That's the second one. I was going to say this could make or break this run that Georgia's on, and it's going to be tough because Auburn's a damn good team. We've all seen that. Let's see, where were we? 12 p.m. CBS. 7-8 Kansas State versus number 11, 12-3 Kansas. 1 p.m. on Fox, 10-7 Xavier versus number 7, 14-2 Marquette. 1 p.m. on ESPN Plus, 12-7 Winthrop versus 11-6 UNC Asheville. 1 p.m. on CBS Sports Network, Arizona State versus Cincinnati. Both of them are 10-5. 1 p.m. Once again, I couldn't find TV for it, but by now they've got to have TV because this looks like it could be a pretty decent game. 10-5 Arizona versus 11-4 Texas Tech. It's got to be somewhere. 1 p.m. on ESPN Plus. 12-4 Davidson versus 13-3 Rhode Island. 1:15 on the CW. 11-5 Stanford versus 11-6 North Carolina. 2 p.m. on NBC Peacock. Number 20, 13-4 Purdue versus number 15, 14-2 Oregon. That's going to be a good one. 2 p.m. on the Big Ten Network. 13-3 Wisconsin versus 10-6 USC. 2 p.m. on ESPN Plus. Miami of Ohio versus Kent State. Both of them are 11-4. 2:30 on SEC Network. This could be another good one. Number 1, 15-1 Tennessee versus 13-3 Vanderbilt. In-state rival. That should be a pretty good one. 3 p.m. Once again, couldn't find TV for this one. 10-6 South Carolina versus number 17, 13-3 Oklahoma. 3 p.m. on CBS Sports Network. 10-6 Loyola Chicago versus 11-5 Dayton. 3 p.m. on ESPN Plus. 10-6 Troy versus 12-5 South Alabama. 4 p.m. on ESPN Plus. Number 3, 14-1 Iowa State versus number 21, 11-3 Miss West Virginia. Why this is on ESPN Plus and not on regular TV, I don't know. 5 p.m. Once again, couldn't find TV for it. Number 23, 14-2 Ole Miss versus number 14, 14-2 Mississippi State. We all know them. They're heated rivals. Should be a good game. It's got to be on TV somewhere. 5 p.m. SEC Network, 11-5 Arkansas versus 13-3 Missouri. That should be good. Missouri just coming off that win there in Gainesville. 6 p.m. on ESPN Plus, 11-6 Western Kentucky versus 12-5 Middle Tennessee. 6 p.m. on ESPN Plus, 10-5 New Mexico State versus 14-3 Liberty. That could be an interesting one. 7:30 SEC Network, 11-5 LSU versus number 10, 13-3 Texas A&M. My wife and I are going to have a house divided on this one. 8 p.m. ESPN Plus, Santa Clara, who's 12-6 versus number 18, 14-4 Gonzaga. And rounding out Saturday night, 8 p.m. ESPN Plus, 10-5 BYU versus 9-6 Utah. And then on 9 p.m. on ESPN Plus, 13-5 Oregon State versus 14-5 San Francisco. I can only imagine they're doing this because they know people are going to be watching the NFL playoffs. That's the only thing I can think of. What are you going to do? And for Sunday, if you're not watching the NFL playoffs, got a few games here that are interesting. 11 a.m. on CBS, Sunday. Number 19, 13-4 Illinois versus number 12, 15-2 Michigan State. They're in East Lansing. That's going to be a good one. Another good one, 1 p.m., Big Ten Network. 11-6 Northwestern versus number 20, 13-4 Michigan. And then 4 p.m. on ESPN, 9-7 TCU versus number 25, 11-5 Baylor. That is it. That is going to be it for this. We're going to try to do a show on Monday. Not sure if it's going to happen. We're getting that winter storm coming in Saturday night. We're going to have ice and snow. When that happens down here, it usually knocks the power out. And luckily, I have a backup generator. But I try not to plug too much stuff in it so I don't use too much gas. So we're going to try to be back Monday to review everything that happens tonight, tomorrow, and Sunday. If not, if we can't, man, stay safe and stay warm because this thing is going to be bad over most of the country from what the maps are showing. Stay safe, stay warm. If you can, have fun this weekend, depending on where you live. Anyway, we'll try to see you back on Monday. If not, then probably a week from today. Anyway, stay safe. See you later.